Who else you know just drop some shit without a gram of soda? I'm sharp, I sharpen my motor skills with a Motorola. These dimwits couldn't withstand the
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Book of Rhymes, the show where we talk to artists about some of their projects and break down some bars. I'm your host, Donwill, and today we have Crimeapple.
Yo.
What up, man?
What's good, baby?
Thank you for coming out and in this monsoon torrential downpour shit,
Sorry
you know
for
what I'm
being
saying?
late.
Nah, it's all good, man. We're going to get into it, you know what I'm saying? How you feeling?
Yes, sir. Chilling, man. Good.
Where? You coming from Jersey?
Yes, sir.
What part?
North Jersey. I'm right outside the Lincoln Tunnel now.
Oh, shit. Is that where you originally from?
Nah. Changed the setting. Thanks to hip-hop helped me change my settings.
Ah, word. Where are you from originally?
I'm from North Jersey. I'm from Bergen County.
Okay, so what was your entrance into the game? Like, what was your musical entrance? What was,
Shit,
out there in
it's my
Jersey?
older brother's fault, really.
Word?
Because I was, like, really onto, I was into everything. When you're, like, 5, 6, you listen to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your parents are bumping, whatever the fam's bumping. Then my older brothers came, and they had the Chronic and the Ready to Dies and the 36 Chambers and all that shit.
How much older?
Significantly. I mean, I'm bad with birthdays. I don't even know how old those fools are, but like a good 6, 7 maybe.
Okay, yeah. So
6,
like
7 years.
they were like the gatekeepers of the dope shit. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
exactly.
Yeah, the same with me. My cousin gave me like my first Tribe Called Quest tape, my first Wu-Tang tape. So it was like that was my entrance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of like you developing your style as like a rapper, were you like writing raps and MCing back then, or like a little bit fucking with it at all?
I think the first things that I was doing was flipping the lyrics to like bad boy shit and May shit to like clown people at like court young girls.
Yeah, like rewording that shit a little bit.
Trying to reword it and be like, oh. And yeah, that was it.
That shit's kind of fun, like flipping it, cause like that's some like freestyle shit. You know what I'm saying? Or like some shit you could do.
I still do that shit
Yeah.
with everything. Like
Word?
it'd be a pop record or whatever. I'll just be singing this shit and then I'll just turn it into some foul shit.
That shit's so much fun, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. But so what was the point where you decided to take it seriously?
Oh, what is it like? Serious. I mean, depend.
I guess to clarify that a little bit in terms of seriously, I mean like when you recognize like, oh, I have a talent for actually making my own rhymes and like not just flipping other people's shit, but like writing shit that's poignant enough for me to spit out. You know what I'm saying? In front of other people, or not even in front of other people, but just like when you started developing your craft and your style.
I mean, I think I wanted to start recording music towards like the end of high school when I was like over battling kids. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you were battling and shit?
Yeah, I was battling like crazy. And,
Like was it freestyle or like written? You would come through with the writtens.
I was like the last of the Mohicans with the freestyles because cats started pulling out paper back then and shit, and it was like crazy.
Yeah, that freestyle battling is rough, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's rough if someone's in front of you and they're like pristine and you just can't even fucking, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like if he's the fucking man or the woman and you just can't say nothing. But all I ever needed was just that, like, you know what I'm saying?
And
One
also
little thing.
like those flips of other songs, like rewriting other people's shit, it comes in handy when you're battling. You know what I'm saying? Because you always got ammo. You can use everything around you.
Well, I was also like, very adept at the dozens at the lunch table. So
Word.
yeah, that helps.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the New Jersey scene in general is like, I'm from Ohio. I've been living in Brooklyn for maybe 10 years. The only thing I know about the New Jersey scene, to be honest, like, well, I know Maroof. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know a lot of cats out there. So paint a picture, describe the landscape of what it was then and like even what it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on out there?
I mean, then there was like cats that were doing their thing, I guess, but like I'm trying to think, like
It don't even have to be somebody like well
yeah,
known.
no, exactly. I mean, obviously Red was the shit. Red was my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers still is. But I'm just thinking like on a local level.
Yeah.
Like locally there wasn't really anything happening, right? And the first time you would see something, like I discovered this cat named Sean Love when what is this, like SoundClick days.
I remember
And
SoundClick.
I remember he was from Jersey or Trenton, I think. But there wasn't really like a scene locally. Like, it was never like spots for us to rock like that. It was always like outside. And now you probably just have like 2 billion trap rappers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Auto-tuning.
Yep.
Probably have that everywhere. So I don't really, I don't really look at like hip hop and you know what I'm trying to do in a very Jersey centric way anyway though. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't really claim me, so it's like I rap to an extent. It's like, you know, I make it for you, but it's not really for you. You know what I mean?
And you had to kind of, at that point, you had to turn inward and look at yourself as like inspiration and influence and all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah, but you have collaborated with Buck Dudley and DJ Skids. Are they Jersey? I know Buck Dudley's from Jersey, right?
Yeah, Buck Dudley's like, you know, my best friend.
How did y'all meet, and how did y'all decide to like work on music together?
We met at a house party, at a college house party, and he was just a drunken mess. He was very entertaining though. I didn't even know he made beats. I was just like, yo, this guy's hilarious. And then I found out he made beats, and that was it. We just, you know, started putting things together little by little.
What was the first project you did with him?
Our first project was, well, I mean, that people heard. You know what I'm saying? We had a couple no one ever heard. But
let's talk about those. Like in terms of the ones that nobody ever heard, were those just kind of like figuring out how to work with each other, like demo status shit, or was it like stuff that you were like pressing up and kind of like spreading around locally?
Not even. I mean, we kind of like hit it off right off the bat with the chemistry. I think the issue was always just like, yo, why doesn't anyone notice this? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's songs on some of those projects that we actually like revamped and put on the first project that people actually heard.
Oh, word.
Like 10-year-old songs. We just went in and re-recorded it, changed a bar or two.
Yeah, and that can be super frustrating when nobody's like, when you know your shit is fire, nobody's like catching on. It's not catching on.
Yeah, I mean, I retired like 10 times like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
So what was the last retirement? Because you're obviously not retired now. Hopefully you don't retire anytime soon. But the last retirement, what pulled you out of it?
Kind of just like knowing like the window was closing. So it was like, all right. I mean, and I'm one of those people, like I say that shit, but it's not real. Like you know, if no one knew who I would still be recording music, you know what I'm saying? For myself. But I just came to that point where I was like, yo, I'm gonna make one last go at it. I probably had the gonads to do it like that, just from being fronted on in a couple different ways, you know, getting my heart broken. It was like, word, I'm gonna show you, bitch. But just life was just shitting on me. Yeah. So I was like, well, let me give it a shot. Like
sometimes being told no enough times can just be fuel. It can be like a battery.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
So and from that point, I know Statik Selektah, you caught his ear. How did that come about?
Well, I had actually met Statik, I don't know, maybe like 5 years prior to actually getting to go on the radio, because there was this kid locally who I was warned about who hit me up. My boy was like, yo, this kid's a real big embellisher, but he's going to contact you because he asked for your information.
I like that term, embellisher.
Yeah, he's a huge embellisher. Duff Rob. He hits me up and he's like, yo, I like your shit. I want to take you to meet Statik Selektah and Talib Kweli and like Snoop Dogg. I'm like, all right.
You had me until Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. So when we go, me and my boy go, and we go to we show up to a party. I think it was for population control. And lo and behold, Statik was there, thankfully for Duff Rob, because if he wasn't and we just did like an hour commute, Duff Rob was gonna get duffed.
I was literally about to say Duff Rob was gonna get duffed.
He was gonna get duffed hard. But Statik was there. Statik was cool enough. I mean, I remember Statik like listening. I think he was like watching my video, like in the party. My man was like, yo, check, I wouldn't have done that. My man was like, yo, watch this. And he watched it, and I think information was exchanged, and we just didn't really like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if we reached out and he didn't hit us or whatever it was, but in one of those like moments later on, right, in the future, where I'm giving it that final go, I had hit him up, and I just figured mentioning that meeting was like a good, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess he read it and remembered, or maybe not, but, you know, I sent some music, and I was up there like the next day or the 2 days after.
I mean, I feel like because I wasn't really familiar with your stuff until shout out to Watts and Los, like they put me on.
Big shout out to Watts.
And like literally, the first few bars they grab you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're one of those rare finds where it's just like the beats are dope. It's one thing, but you know you got to be like, okay, so let me see what this nigga rapping about. But it was like literally from the first few bars, I'm like, yo. And it was one of those things where I started texting other people like, yo, check this shit out, check this shit out, check this shit out.
I appreciate that.
Mainly because, you know what I'm saying, like you don't really find shit like that. You find shit that's dope. You find shit that's like just, you know, it fills a certain void, but your shit is special. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But with that said, so when you went to Shea 45 for that freestyle, what was your preparation like? Like, what was your mind state? Did you feel like, oh shit, this is go time? I gotta really
Big time. Yeah, absolutely. I was probably shitting bricks. I remember shitting. Like, I was nervous as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm like beat red in the footage.
I remember
red
the
as
footage.
fuck.
You probably haven't watched it. Like you had your hat down
I
kind of
didn't
low,
want, yeah, I couldn't
and
even
you
look
were
at it, yeah.
you were so focused though. And I'm trying to remember if you were reading off your phone or if you were just going like from
No
with
phone.
your eyes closed. So
Yeah, eyes closed. Yes.
You're right. So like the memorization aspect, it was like 9, 8, 10 minutes long. Like were these raps that you had on deck from like a while ago, or were you like just fucking?
Yeah, that's
did
like
you shape some shit up?
6 years of recording
Okay.
music that no one ever heard and just starting to go through it, like a couple hours before.
Yeah, like so whenever radio shit like that happens, I forget everything. Like I literally forget a verse until I remember the first line. Like my homeboy will tell me the line, but like just watching you go through it, you were just like, I'm ready, keep going, let's keep going. And I'm like, yo, this motherfucker's a beast. It's like an animal. You know what I'm saying?
I was waiting for that for a minute.
Yeah. So did you start to notice a shift after that in terms of like not even your shit, but just like the world around you and like the things, the opportunities around you that started to come about?
Yeah, for sure. It's like he like cracked the door open for me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Didn't bust it open, but he just unlocked it or something. You know what I'm saying? I got a toe in, and then from there, it was kind of like up to me, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He threw me a look or two, and there was a time where I thought he was going to sign me because he had expressed an interest in doing so. And I don't know what happened. It didn't materialize, so it kind of came down to me. But luckily, I had Buck, and we already had such a good chemistry. And fortunately, the music was well received by a small group of people that just started growing.
And was that was one of the which album was available at that point, or you hadn't?
Nothing was available
Okay,
yet.
so
I just
that
started
was-
dropping like songs. You know what I'm saying? Like every
Yeah.
2 weeks or whatever. Trying
So
to
that was
build
when
it up.
you started cooking at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never know. Statik might call you up to do one of those live albums where he's like, "We're gonna record over 48 hours and put this shit out." Like,
I hope not. I hope not. That's crazy.
yeah, he does that shit, man. He just did one with Bun B.
Yep. It's incredible.
It's incredible, man. Yeah, he's a crazy dude. But so from that point, I guess you caught the ear of a couple of Enigmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast.
I lured
started.
out the specters.
Yeah, what's up?
For sure. I lured out the specters.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
like you've worked with some people who literally they're enigmas. There's no other way to put it. They're just like these faceless, or they're like in the ether. Like they're hard to get up with. It's hard to like find information on them. So like I don't know the order, but I'm gonna like run through them. You work with, was it Griselda first?
That came later.
Okay, who was the first? It was Griselda, Matt Comey, and Big Ghost. Big Ghost was first.
To a certain, I didn't really connect with Big Ghost first. Nah. He had done an album with a cat named Huss Kingpin, and Huss had hit me up to just for a verse. I didn't know what it was for or anything like that. And then it comes out on his album with Big Ghost, but like it's a different song. Like his verse is different, the beat's different.
Yeah.
But I was like, word, hype. But before that, Mock had, I think, sent word through a mutual friend of ours, Sadhu Gold, that he was interested in getting me on something.
Oh, word. So and that was the something in provisions is the name of the
Bacalao and Provisions.
Bacalao and Provisions. Yeah, that joint's mean. And that's the only thing that you guys did, right?
That's it.
And then from that, you went. Was that bit after that was Big Ghost?
Yeah, a couple months after was Big Ghost. Yep.
So the burning question is, did you meet Big Ghost?
No.
You didn't meet Big Ghost. Did you
No.
talk to Big Ghost?
We DM'd each other.
Have you seen a picture of Big?
Nah.
I gotta ask just because, man, like it's just so wild to me that I've known about Big Ghost since Big Ghost was to be known about. Like, and even before, because I'm an internet kind of person. I like the internet culture and personalities and shit. And he's one of those dudes where, like, it's just he's entertaining, he's funny, but he has this air of mystery around him. So when I found out he was doing music, I was like, oh, well, motherfuckers have obviously seen him. And it's just like, nah, he's still just behind the veil. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask what that process was like, but it sounds like it was a lot more just like a personal, because you didn't really have an interaction with him that much.
Not at all. And like I kind of knew what it was because I was also following him for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Reading the reviews, and I kind of understood to a certain extent what his whole thing was. So going into it, you know, I kind of just like that was the rub for me. Was like, oh, great. I get from being able to work on something with like, you know, my best friend who I see all the time, and we're in the studio together, to like, you know, a question mark.
Yeah.
So that was like a challenge. I was like, this will be dope. I know he'll do different things and post and.
So was Buck around for those sessions at all?
Nah. I mean, because my shit is real simple. You know, like I don't spend too much time in the lab.
Okay.
You know, I go do vocals, maybe redo a couple things, but it's usually like an hour or two.
And it wasn't like you were floating songs or concepts or tracks past. It was just kind of like you were recording and send it to Ghost. It wasn't like a.
Yeah, he's sending me the beats. I'm picking the ones I like. I'm rapping on them, and you know, a couple whatever later, you know, an album comes out, and and I heard it for the first time with everyone else. I didn't even hear it before it came out.
Yeah, that's honestly sometimes that's a lot of fun. It's like a vocalist or it's like a person who's contributing to a project. It's fun to hear what the end result is. Sometimes it can be scary, like when you said Homeboy switched the beat up on you and all that shit. Like sometimes when they place your verse a little bit off on.
Yeah. I think he showed me like one or two things where he did that. He might have shown me like one or two things, but for the most part, like I was just like midnight whenever it came out. I was right there with everyone else.
That's dope. That's just like hearing your shit on the radio.
It was fun. It was
time.
like Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
And from there you worked with Griselda.
Yeah, I think I don't know however many months after Wes hit me up to get on Chris Benoit.
Word. So you have a pretty good relationship with those guys. Like what was it like working with them?
I mean, you know, the way it is nowadays,
True.
just a DM, fuck with you, Lord, I fuck with you too. All right, fire, send it over the next day. And, you know, you don't know what's going to happen with it, and then it comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's the relationship you and Buck have seems like it fills the gap in terms of like that person to person thing where it's not like just emailing verses off to people and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes making music like that can be fun, but sometimes it also feels slightly impersonal. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's more so about your personal relationship to the song and not necessarily about the energy of the room when you're recording and all that shit. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, thankfully I've had opportunities to do a lot of both.
Yeah.
You know, like everything I did with Skids, we were together. You know, I got an album coming out with DJ Muggs. Everything we did, we were together.
Yeah, like so I'm getting to that too. So my question, like in doing research on you, you're kind of enigmatic as well. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of information about you out there.
Let's chop it up.
No, that's what we're
not
doing
trying
right
to
now.
be. I'm not. I mean, you know.
I know you're not trying to be, but like it's kind of fun. Like it was fun for me because it was like I had to dig deeper than just going through somebody's Wikipedia page. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Do I have a Wikipedia already? I hope not.
You don't have one yet.
All right, great.
I mean, after this interview,
Nobody better don't make that shit. Cease and desist.
But so I saw a picture of you, Rock Marciano, and The Alchemist. Is that something that's happening? Rosebud? Is that some shit that's?
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible. I mean, I have some joints with Al, and you know, we're gonna do some work in the future. But that was just like a Saturday night, you know, where Rock came through and we're kicking it. You know, anytime I get to talk to me, Rock's like top of the top.
Yeah.
So just being able to chop it up with him on like a human level, you know what I'm saying? Like I've said it for a minute, even since like the possibility of us doing anything, you know, came about. Like for me, it's like I don't ever gotta, you know, work with Rock because just the fact that like one of my heroes, you know, appreciates what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That shit's
I can get a slip in the shower tomorrow. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I never, you know, I'm sure it'll happen, though.
You did the album with Muggs in Columbia.
Yes.
I wanted to talk a little bit about that and the process behind that. Like, how did you guys end up recording in Columbia versus anywhere else or California where he's from, where he lives?
Yeah.
Rather.
I mean, we did some stuff in California. I was doing some stuff with Al and Ev, and I had a show there in like December. And it's like the day of the show. Show's later that night. I'm supposed to leave on a red eye the next morning. And his man, Ern Medina, shout out to Ern, who does the Soul Assassins radio, had hit me up and was like, yo, we want to come through, have you host. It's tomorrow at whatever time. And, you know, I'm walking around like, I know what I have to do. And I'm just kind of like thinking out loud. And I was like, what's going on? Like, you better do that shit. But I didn't know like I was gonna meet Muggs. You know, I didn't know where I was going. I thought you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I go and it's like Muggs' studio. Muggs is there. So I finished doing the drops for the radio show. He's like, "You want to do a joint?" Next thing I know, we have a bunch.
You mean like after a session or like after a couple of days?
No, like
You
in
have
a
a
night.
bunch.
Like in a night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like in a night.
Okay.
It was real crazy. And you know, we just stayed in touch. And my plan after the album with Skids came out, you know, I was gonna treat myself to a vacation. But I had to go to LA to talk to him because we wanted to figure out like what we were really gonna do in terms of like a project. So I was gonna like invite him. I was gonna be like, "Yo, I'm going to Colombia." In passing, like it was in the back of my head. I didn't even think that he, you know what I'm saying? I just knew that he might be interested, but I didn't think he would be. So we get on the phone a couple days before a couple weeks before I'm gonna go see him in LA. And before I can even ask him, he's like, "Yo, I had a question. You know, do you have family in Colombia?" And I was like, "Oh shit." You know what I'm saying? We're on the same page. Like, yeah, let's do it. And that was that. Yep.
So you guys did music, you guys recorded out there and all that?
Yeah, everything. It was like 5 days of just like work, fun, work, fun.
That's some writer's retreat shit, man. And it had to pull like a different, like it had to like inspire you in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I mean, I hadn't been there in like 12 years, and I've been plenty of times, but I hadn't been in 12 years. I hadn't seen a lot of fam in a minute. Yeah, there was like moments, you know what I'm saying, where like I might be like, you know, Muggs getting recognized, and that's to be expected, and even that's cool. But when like someone's recognizing me out there, you know, it's like my little Ali Boombaye moment. You know, it was dope.
Yeah,
It was special.
So speaking of process and speaking of writing, when you're not in Colombia, like what's your process for writing? What motivates you now?
What motivates me, shit, is, you know, not having to do anything that, you know, would make my mom unhappy, or having to answer to somebody at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
True.
At a job.
How often do you write? Are you like a daily writer, or is it like when you have a project?
It depends. There's no, you know, like it depends. I can go months without writing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or it could be months where I write every day. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just but whenever it's time to write though. You know, if I'm fortunate enough lately where it's like I have so much shit that I can kind of just chill a little bit and live life, which I'm trying to do so that I can come back with a little more perspective and go through some shit. So I don't be on it like that right now, but you know, if someone said, you know, if there's a moment where I have to get busy, I get busy right away and I send it back quick.
Yeah, like sometimes you have to live life. Like it's not like you can write every day, but you'll kind of start like wearing your notebook thin in the same place. You know what I'm saying? You just start getting to a rut in a sense.
I mean, I do write I do write thoughts down. You know what I'm saying? Every day. Like whether it's like a word I hear that stands out to me or a scenario that I'll see. You know what I'm saying? I have a list of those things. Yep. And then I just pick from that when it's time to write.
Are you like a phone or like a pen and pad person?
I'm a phone guy now. Yeah.
Phone guy? When did you make the switch?
Probably when Sidekicks came out.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I've had notepad, but yeah, that was
yeah.
That was major because it was just like it felt like my lightsaber at the time.
Yeah,
this
man.
Great.
I miss Sidekicks so much, G. But do you have any like rituals when you write? Like is there anything you do that kind of like spurs the creativity, or is it just like free form?
I have this thing where it's like really late at night and I need to be outside. So I need to go find like a bench. You know what I'm saying? And I need to see that, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to like feel it. I need to like feel the air and just look around and see the stragglers, you know what I'm saying? Have a couple smokes.
Yeah.
I do that. But outside of that, I mean, you know, I write in the car, I write in line.
Does that thing happen where you tend to get the best ideas when you can't write at all? Like it's like your hands are tired, or you're driving, or you're doing XYZ, and you just literally can't get to like a pen and paper.
Well, hence the list of like the seeds, right? I have like the seed list where it's like I know I can't figure out what this means right now, but I know it's worth coming back to.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And do you prefer writing on the spot to writing before, like with working with Muggs on the project in Colombia? Like, was it like writing on the spot sometimes can be intimidating for people? But
yeah, big time.
What do you prefer?
Well, now, like I wasn't sure. There was a lot of times where I didn't know if I would be that good at it. And, you know, like the first couple times I think I was put on the spot, you know, I kind of cheated a little bit because I had all these rhymes from like 10 years.
Yeah.
Just all, you know what I'm saying, in my email, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I just wrote this. And I might switch up a couple.
Shape it up a little bit. Yep.
And I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, like definitely I think one of my favorite moments was like first time I got up with Ev. It was just me and him. And, you know, I was kind of on the spot. And I just didn't know, like, you know, when it's like someone like that and you don't know, you know, if you're ever going to get to do that again, you know, like he's making a beat. And I'm like writing as he's making it. And I was like, damn, that shit is fire. Did it again, like a couple times with Al. So I knew I would be ready when it was time to do it with Muggs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm pretty confident about it now. It don't matter now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where with practice, anything with practice in general.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like you write in a multitude of ways. You can either do it on the spot or like beforehand. In terms of recording projects, in terms of like the recording process, how long does it take you to complete a project in general? I know that's kind of a vague question, especially when you have like a body.
I
of
know.
work
I hate
as
to keep
large
giving
as
you
yours.
the answers where it's like, it could be.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's cool because you know what I'm saying. Like
It runs the gamut.
Yeah.
It depends on the scenario.
So,
you know?
better question: which one took you the longest to make, and which one was the quickest?
Ooh, longest to make. I feel like the longest to make was probably the first one that me and Buck did, because that's when like everyone, the only like frame of reference people really had was like the freestyle on Shea 45 and, you know, a couple Lucy's.
Yeah.
So I was very like critical of things that we were doing, and we were just like, I was really dragging my feet because it was like, do people even want to hear an album? You know, like, is that it? I just wasn't sure, so we really took I think it was like 9 months.
So do you feel like you put a little undue pressure on yourself, like in that 9 months where you were like, do you feel like you were overthinking?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still do that now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that probably took the longest. And then it's funny because like after that, and you know, just the opinions that mattered to me at the time were good. So it was like, oh, word, we're gonna do another one, and like we did it like in a week, like 2 weeks later.
Word. So, and you work with a multitude of producers, and you do the thing where you have one producer per project. Are you inspired differently by different producers, or is it all coming from the same well of creation?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like to, you know, with Big Ghost is a little different, obviously, but even in that situation, I kind of like want to understand, you know, them a little more.
Yeah.
With him, it was harder, so I'm just going off of like the shit that he's done that I'm a fan of, more so just like the writing. I try to like enjoy, I guess, who they are, you know what I'm saying, as a person. Like with Skiz, you know, we spent plenty of time together, and I don't know how I could really like, you know, correlate, right? Like the time that we spent together and our relationship, and, you know, how much I revere him as a human to like the music. But I feel like those projects like that, it's like the Thor movie with the Hulk, you know, it's like a buddy cop kind of thing moment.
Yeah.
So, and I enjoy that. It's like just we make a world, and this is this world, and you know, they go out of that world and do their thing, and I go out of that world and do mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I saw you just recently drop Perfect 3.
Yeah, I mean, that came out, it's about to be a year since it came out, but it hit digital months later.
Oh, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask about like in terms of it being a trilogy, or like what separates it from the rest of your body work to give it its own designation amongst the rest of your body of work. Like, why wasn't it just 3 different album title names? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if I have to be honest, I couldn't tell you. Like I was explaining, the first joint took like 9 months. So it's like I had a taste for blood when it went well, or at least what I thought was well at the time, where it was like, yo, I'm about to go in. Like, and it was like a practice. It's like, you know, it's like practice makes perfect. It was short, 6 songs, whatever it was. Did the second one like 2 weeks after the first one. And then at that point, the reason to do 3 was just like, yo, there's like this other PNG of the, you know, it's like the other thing that happens in Street Fighter.
Yeah,
we got to do the third one at this point. But you know, it was really, it's like, it's fun. It's like, what do you compare? What in my head, it was like my version of the shit Wayne was doing with the mixtapes.
It's one of those things where it's just fun to see a series in general. So with that said, I've been digging into your catalog. Got a lot of albums. You know what I'm saying? and what we do here at this podcast is I like to quote bars to the lyricists and get a little input and feedback from them. All right, first up, I got a couple quotes for you. The first one is Dino from Perfect 3.
Okay.
The bars are, motherfuckers cop the tape because I'm breathing cocoa. Fuck a label. I might sign with the Ayatollah. Touch the merchandise. I can fill the room up. 67 belugas all going to have a school bus. Too many maneuvers got me moving like Osama. Electrocute a barracuda, koala on the garment. Like the wordplay on that shit is just super fun, man. Like, I guess just what's inspired that.
I mean, obviously LL.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously LL. And I love to pay homage when I can without being corny about it. But yeah, I mean, that's just that like rapper shit, right? That's just that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
So what is Dino, the title of the song?
Dino, the bike.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Because I do remember you said riding Dino, and I was like, is that like some sort of public transportation shit? You know what I'm saying?
No.
But
It was the fly chrome bikes back in the day.
Yeah. Were you like a bike dude?
Garage full.
Word.
Garage full.
Do you still ride at all?
I get on the limes now. Got the Lime app.
Yeah. All right, next joint. Elm Street from Sweet Dreams. I see every single sub disc. Them shits be cute to me. See me in real life start sounding like Lumity. Heart pounding. The jewelry tremble, the bladder quiver. See the fire in my eyes, lungs full of gorilla. We snatch Skrilla. Pop up with the baddest chickens. Rap the sickest. Everything I touch is cataclysmic. So, fucking start sounding like Lumity. That shit had
the ad-lib in the back with the,
yeah. Like
you yeah, and I mean that shit is like that sentiment is kind of like tenfold now. I think at the time it wasn't that crazy, but it's just like about someone who's got a little spice on the Twitter.
Yeah.
And then in real life it's pretty bland.
I mean, you tend to like the way you write and the way like your metaphors are set up, like you think it's going one way and it goes a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Like I really enjoy like transcribing some of your verses and shit. As a person who used to like reword songs too, like it's fun because you kind of get a glimpse into the writer's mind when you write it down after they said it, and it's just like you're fucking ill. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man.
Next joint is from Wet Dirt. Wet Dirt is one of my favorites. We were talking about it before you got here. Like out of all the albums that I checked out, Wet Dirt was the one where I was like, yeah.
Word.
The song is Wet Dirt from Wet Dirt, the title track. You keep doing the same shit, I'm doing me. All this outreach from people that I used to see. I've been doing it myself. What could you do for me? Feel like the whole world where my foreskin used to be. Whole hood in back of me, watch me defy gravity. You sad, I'm on top, just have a Clorox daiquiri. Reynolds rap shit at record time, now my line jumping. Came off the bench, now you laying in a pine cousin. Clorox daiquiri, G. I just wanted to quote that literally to say Clorox daiquiri.
Oh, I didn't say you were laying in the pine, you're sitting on the pine.
Yeah, my bad.
You're riding the bench, you're not dead.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's, again, what I'm saying? You start getting phone calls from people that haven't hollered in a while or whatever. You start, I hate to say that. It's like, you got haters, but I got haters.
Yeah,
motherfuckers is hating.
It comes with the territory, you know what I'm saying?
Motherfuckers, I mean, hey.
All right, so the next one is Purple Rain from Wet Dirt. All right, Purple Rain, I'm going to need your help with a word or two because...
Yeah.
With
a little Spanish in there?
Yep. You know what time it is.
Got you.
Pain made me human. God made me special. I don't even rap. I'm just throwing...
Huevo.
That's
huevo.
What does that mean?
Oh man, I mean that's like, even Spanish. I think that's the thing. I'm glad you asked because that's not necessarily something that people who even speak Spanish are going to understand, right? Because huevo is an egg.
Yeah, that's what I thought it meant.
It's an egg. It's also like your nuts, right? But me and my DJ Brown 13. And a few cats that's around us. He had like he like invented. I mean I don't know who to credit, but like he always like when I came around, he was always saying this shit like huevo, like something like huevo is like a look You know what I'm saying? It's like huevo. You know what I'm saying? You get someone does something dope. It's like, damn, he caught that huevo. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like huevo's like it's like a good look. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not even rapping. I'm just creating
like
moments. You know, I'm
some
just throwing
in-house slang shit.
But it just sounds funny because it's
Yeah.
like, is he throwing an egg or his nuts? Like, was he? You know what I mean? But
That
that's
shit-
what it means when we say it.
that
Like,
shit's
and
saucy.
huevo is too. So it's funny. I'm just because I just want to address it now because people might hear it in the future and not know. So if they hear this, they'll know. The anti-huevo is mancha, which translates to stain. So when we see certain things that cats are doing, it's like, ooh, mancha. You know what I'm saying? You got the mancha. Yeah, so it's huevo or mancha, and we always want to hopefully be on the side of huevo.
Yo, that's some fly shit. That's some style shit. You know what I'm saying? There's some of that sauce that you can only get from, you know what I'm saying? From you, direct. But back to the bars. Told you this wasn't a sound. Nah, this shit's a level. From chicken spot specials to eating chia seeds with fennel. Pop need assistance, so I'm dreaming different. Cooking food for thought, and I clean the dishes. Mom said do it while you got a shot. So I'm throwing the keys when I cop the drop. My nieces and nephews can't recognize their uncle's face. I've been running late to give them each $100K. Like that makes everything okay, but I hate stomach aches. If it ain't about to come up, it ain't much to say. So, with that said, were your parents initially supportive of like what you were doing in your dreams and like rapping?
I don't want to say no and like paint them in the wrong light, but you know, not necessarily. It was my mom is a teacher, so you know, like education was like always big in my household. My older brothers went to college. My older shit, like I'm the youngest, and everyone went to college, and you had to have like aides to have a day off. You know what I'm saying? And if I did any stupid shit, like she was hearing about it immediately because she's like, you know, either in the same building or a phone call away. They got her extension. So, you know, clearly that's not what she wanted me to do. She was supportive of me being creative, though. You know what I'm saying? She just, I used to draw and paint a lot, and she always wanted me to do that. And my pops is just like, you know, you got to make money. What are you doing? This rapping thing is not paying the bills. You know what I'm saying? So he was always just a money guy. Like, you know, as long as you're all right, you know. And I think both of them felt that way. It's like, as long as you're okay, you know, like they're good. So thankfully, I think they're all right now. You know what I'm saying? They're not as worried.
Yeah, like I think you always see something for your children. You always have like a goal in mind for them, or like no matter how old they get, you want them to be okay. So as long as they can look at you and see like, oh, he's not in trouble, he's fed, he's clothed. You know what I'm saying? Like
I get it too. I never you know, looked at the situation with like, you know, I wish I had more support. You know, never. Like they went above and beyond for me.
That's dope, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? That sort of support from inside the house is cool. The next joint is one of my favorite track title names, by the way, Springfield Power Plant.
It's my shit.
It's got the little Mr. Burns excellent in there.
Mm-hmm. I tried to do it, but I couldn't do it that good.
It was fun to hear like the audio from the show speak in. I would have appreciated you doing it, but that shit was super fun. It's like a fun reprieve. But raking in the Benjamin, place him in the couch and wait. Whoever could have signed me then probably drinking sour grapes. I want a white Bengal tiger for my birthday. Still got cracks in the ceiling like an earthquake. Thursday to Thursday, plotting on a flock of geese. You minor league, at very least, matter of fact, you obsolete. Like, that shit is some flossy fun shit. You know what I'm saying?
Sure is. It sure is. It's fun. It's so fun.
What was was it just like that song in general was just some fly shit? It was just you like styling a little bit.
Yeah, it's having fun. I mean, if we're breaking down the line, it's like, yo, you know, whoever could have fucking came up, you know what I'm saying? Like a couple cats snoozed. You know what I'm saying? They know what time it is. A couple cats snoozed. A couple cats are still snoozing. You know, sleeping. But it was that kind of thing. It was just like, you know, when Skiz was fucking with the drum machine, he was about to like skip past that shit. And I was like, no, hold on. What the fuck is this? And it was like, yo, please, you know, in the age where some people might feel like Drumlist is overdone, I was like, please don't do nothing to this.
I think Drumlist works well in certain instances. Like when you have a really strong vocalist, it gives like such an open lane for the lyrics to just live and breathe. Like it makes it easier to pay attention to the bars. You know what I'm saying? Like for a person like you, that is perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and shit, we were in Colombia and I had people telling me how much they, like telling me like, oh, me encanta el drumlist. You know what I'm saying? So drumlist is a thing now. Drumlist is worldwide.
Oh, word.
Drumlist.
What was the phrase?
They try to, like, they be saying things they don't try to translate everything. So they'll be like drumless.
Yeah,
It's just them saying drumless.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this shit is worldwide. Like, you can never stop doing drumless now.
That shit's tight, man. Well, that was all the quotes I had for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will say I'm very excited about the Mugs project. Like,
Thank you.
what can they look forward to besides relentless bar work and some crazy beats?
I mean, that's about it. That is about it. Nah, for me,
Keep
I think
it simple. You know what I'm saying?
I just listened to the master last night. I do think, for me in my catalog, it's probably my best work. What people are gonna hear is, I guess, a reflection of the experience. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna hear like that we're out there, like like interludes and skits. Most of the shit is like live, like it's recorded from like us moving around. So it's kind of like a look into the trip. You kind of almost like, if you really listen, you're kind of there.
It's almost like postcards or some shit.
Yeah, like it's a vibe, and like if you've never been, cool, you could kind of get an idea. And if you have been there, whether you're from there or not, like, as a descendant, but if you have been there and you've smelled the smells and, you know what I'm saying, heard the sounds, you'll know, like, oh shit, this is like PTSD of being in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to ask, what's the name Crimeapple? How did you get that name? Like, where does it come from?
I was big on my juicing back in the day. I was on my Jack LaLanne shit. I think I was probably like 100 pounds more than I weigh now, though. I was like gross. So we started getting on a juicing tip. We watched Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I know.
Good movie. About. The dude who like does it, he like drinks juice for like a month. You know what I'm saying? And me and my brothers, a few of my friends, like everyone was kind of on it. So I started doing it. I wasn't really successful. There was no way I could just not eat shit. I think I juiced for like 4 days. But I digress.
It leaves you hungry. Like
my jaw started hurting because I needed to chew something.
Yeah,
like I needed
it's
meat.
hard.
But I started getting funky with it. Like I was hanging, like homies that I'm hanging out with. We're doing the juicing shit too. So on a Saturday night, we're sitting there. I was big in the edibles back then, like actually making them, selling them. Before it was like you can get them anywhere. Yeah. So I would have like a lot of like oils and shit. So I started putting oils in the shit. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Put a shot of Henny in the shit, or whatever. So we started like corrupting the juice, and I made something. I was like, "Yo, have a couple Crimeapple," and then like I named the song Crimeapple, whatever the case may be. One of my favorite joints. It was like over a doom beat. And then fast forward to whenever I'm like ready to really hang it up and make my last go for it. It was like, yo, what am I gonna call myself, bro? Because I know I go into these open mics where there's like 65 rappers, and people know that I'm dope, but they're gonna walk away like, like I just wanted to have something that would stay with you.
Yeah.
What better thing than something I made up?
Did you have another name before it, or like were you going by anything at all, or is it just was?
Oh man, I was actually using my last name, so we're not even gonna. That's how boring I was. It's like I was like, I'm really out here rapping with my last name. Like this is, and I don't even have a fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not even anything cool. So, yeah, that's how I came up. That's how I decided to use that, because I wanted to leave an impression.
Cool, man. So, where can the people find you at online, on the internet, or in the stores? Like, give us your handles.
The Googles, I think, what am I at? _, Crimeapple _. It's so complicated. I'm sorry. That's what it is for now, until the young lady in Canada or Singapore decides to give me my shit.
Please give Crimeapple his shit. Please. He needs that. You don't need it. You know what I'm saying?
She doesn't even tweet.
Don't even fucking tweet.
She hasn't tweeted since like 2009.
That's fucked
Abby,
up.
I think her name is. Abby, stop fucking around.
Yo, Abby, you fucking the game up right now. Muggs got an album with this dude coming out. He has back catalog for days. Give this nigga his name. You know what I'm saying?
That's why the name's helpful though, right? Because it's like a simple thing. Remember, it's one word. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just Google the shit. That's it. Everything's there.
Do your Googles. And when you're doing them, look for Book of Rhymes Podcast. I'm the host, Donwill. We're Book of Rhymes Pod on everything. That's Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're looking for podcasts. And that's it. See you guys in a minute.
We shop at Whole Foods, we eatin', somebody should've told you. All they rap sounded hormonal. Get out your feelings, get this torta. You looking at culture, hey no, he went su orcha. I like the cebolla, cause I grew up in una olla. Threw up when I smell the work that I got from Marta Montoya. Rest in paradise, I paired the nights with helly shit. And pissed on your favorite rapper like son got stung by a jellyfish.